Hello, friends of Open DAO. Welcome to the very first Legal Alliance live stream. And this has been a long time coming, and I want to thank Mick for helping to facilitate this. And I'm going to kick it over to Mrs. Young so that she can do a real quick introduction and then popcorn it around here for some introductions again for the very first Open DAO Legal Alliance coming to you live. If you're watching, make sure you're asking some questions or participating on the YouTube now or later. But over to you, Mick, for an initial introduction and then popcorn it from there.
Okay, hey, great. Thanks, everybody. Hey, real quick, before we get started, wanted to give a quick disclaimer. This is not legal, tax, investment, or any other kind of professional advice. Do your own research. This is just an informal discussion. So with that, we're going to start with a quick round of intros, and then we're going to get into it. So Mick, thanks for stepping up as the leader, and give us a quick intro.
Great. Thank you, guys. Yeah. So welcome everyone to our first Legal Alliance call. I am the co-host for now. But by the way, I just want to say that if anyone suits better than me, I will pass it over to someone else in the future, because we all want the best for our DAO and we want to be effective as possible. And yeah, now a quick rundown to myself. I'm an active contributor in our DAO. I also participate in the Treasury Alliance, and in the background we are working on a lot of things that we will come up with in the future. And I studied law for 3 years, or I'm studying law for 3 years. I worked in a law firm for 2 years, and I worked with a lot of clients, and that was really successful, to be honest. But I'm not an expert in the crypto legal stuff and questions. And yeah, so I would love to hear from someone else what background they have and they hear.
Awesome. Ellie, welcome to the stage. Give us an intro.
Hey guys, so nice to be here for our first Legal Alliance meeting. I'm so humbled to be able to be part of something like that. Yeah, so I have a legal background, mostly in corporate law, employment law in France and in the US, specifically in California, but it was also obviously, countrywide laws, federal laws as well. So I've never really done crypto law. I did a bit of M&A law for Deloitte, and I haven't been practicing the law for a few years, and I just want to learn more about, the questions around crypto and NFTs and DAOs legally, and just make sure that, we're doing the best we can.
Hey, sorry, Mick, your mic's open. Could you please mute? We're getting an echo.
Yes, so just make sure that we can operate smoothly as a DAO, that we don't run into any trouble, and I'm grateful to be able to contribute to that. So thank you for having me.
Great, love it. Do we want to continue with someone else? Is anyone here who wants to introduce?
I guess I'll do a quick introduction. I'm not a lawyer, don't pretend to be a lawyer, but I do love the legal aspects and the protections that having a legal entity provides. And Mrs. Yox and I have been, we're founders of a couple DAOs under the Wyoming DAO LLC law. And it as Mick was alluding to, this space is so early, and we're just getting started here. We don't know what makes the most sense for everything, and we just like to, again, be involved and help facilitate the conversations here across all of the alliances so that things can go smoothly. So we would be more than happy to share some of our experience, some things that we've considered but not necessarily gone down the path of, that may make more sense for Open DAO to consider here. So I understand, Nick, that you had some initial items prepared for our agenda today. So back to you, kind sir.
Sorry. Yes. So if anyone, are we finished with the introduction round, or does anyone?
Well, I see Suchi, and everybody loves hearing from Suchi. Do you want to give us a quick introduction? Are you able to, Suchi? And then we also have NFT Switzerland, who has not provided an introduction. So one of you two.
Hello, everyone. Here's Jay. Nice for having me. I just want to say I haven't got any legal background or anything like that. I just wanted to be here to hear and to learn.
That's great. I love it. Yeah, I want to add that we don't need only guys or girls with legal backgrounds. We are also really happy to see just interested people or people that want to help or just love to learn new things. I think that's what a DAO is about. And so you don't need to have a legal background to join us. Just a quick reminder. Yeah, Sushi, do you want to introduce yourself? If not, I would continue. Oh, he's back with camera. Oh.
Yes, of course. Let's go. I'm so happy to be here, and I just I am the co-host alliance on the research alliances, so I don't have like education in the legal advices or something like that. I'm not a lawyer, but I believe for myself, I always do the research on the legal, basically aspects of everything I want to do. And I think being a part of the research alliances, I think we can actually put our hand together and really help the legal alliances in basically search for the different laws in different part of the world, and whatever that is going to be necessary in the future to know. And just happy to be here and support you guys. Everybody know I am already in all of the alliances, because I believe we have to just be together, and being together as a community gonna make everything be possible, and we ape together strong. So basically we're gonna stand with each other, and we're really gonna make it. And it doesn't matter if you guys like don't know it, don't feel like nobody knows it all, and we are just learning, and that process is the most enjoyable process when you learn stuff, and we grow as a community together. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And I'll go last. I am Tyler Yonker. I'm Mrs. Yonks, aka Mrs. Hurricane. We are based in Denver, USA. We're full-time DAOists. We are super excited to be here. We are involved in a lot of the alliances as facilitators and YouTubers, and we're just here to help. That's what we're doing.
That's great. A pleasure to have you here, both of you. Thank you again. I think we are finished with the introduction round, and I would like to move forward to align our mission of our alliance with our DAO. So yeah, right now you can see that we want to support the DAO and the Open DAO community with up-to-date summaries of legal developments in crypto and DAO governance, and assists in strategic outbound communications with the with broader crypto community and regulatory and legislative bodies. Yeah. I like the mission, like it's pointed there, but we already got a lot of specific questions about our DAO, like the incorporation or stuff like that. And I just want to go a little bit and talk a little bit about this first. So Yongs, you already, not Yongs, it's Tyler, sorry. Tyler, you said that you worked already in the Wyoming Alliance for the legal stuff, and already got some insights regarding this question.
Sure. So, and this is only applicable to the United States. I'm not familiar with international laws. In Wyoming, which is a state of the United States, there is a DAO LLC structure that is brand new. I think it started in July 2021, and it does allow a DAO to be run by members or by an algorithm. You do have to put in your algorithm. So you say, we're a DAO LLC, we're governed by Snapshot. This is what defines membership, or we don't have members, or we have a token, or we don't have a token. This is how we're governed. And so there's an audit trail for the government in case of anything that comes up. You do also have the legal option to waive liability on behalf of your members. So if you're holding $500 of an organization and the decision gets made that you didn't even vote for, you don't necessarily get held liable for that. So it's a brand new form of law. It is it's gathering support. Wyoming is trying to become Delaware, which is another state of the United States that is very well known for having established business courts. Wyoming is trying to become that for crypto and blockchain related companies. So they're super interested in supporting DAOs. Jason actually met a U.S. Senator, Cynthia Loomis, who at the Wyoming Hackathon, and she's in full support. We have a number of other senators who are. So that's kind of the recap for the U.S. And since Open DAO isn't based here, we're not sure how this would apply or if they want to form legally or whatever, but it is a resource that's out there from a DAO standpoint.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. It looks like Wyoming is very crypto friendly, which is incredible. So I have a quick question about, when do you incorporate the DAO? I'm just kind of wary that there's quite a bit of funds, involved with Open DAO, and, should we be incorporated now? Or is it okay in Wyoming, for instance, that we're not incorporated right now? And when is the trigger, for the law in Wyoming that will say, okay, you have to incorporate if you meet like those conditions, you can't just like fly freely anymore. If you had any insight into that, I think that would be really interesting to hear.
I'll hop in there. I don't know if there's like any necessary requirement. There's a lot of DAOs that operate without any legal benefits. And I do say benefit because that's one of the, again, benefits we believe of operating within some sort of legal framework. And it depends on where you're at as far as if you're operating without any legal entity. And it's our understanding here in the US as a DAO, if you operate without any legal protection, then if something does go sideways, you're treated as a partnership. So that's one of the benefits of the Wyoming DAO LLC is that they allow tokenized, because basically the ERC-20 token for Open DAO represents our ownership in this organization. So, and the benefit of the Wyoming DAO LLC is that you can say that you're algorithmically managed. Here's our smart contract address, which we have. And then we have a governance framework snapshot where the governance happens. So like how we exist today, I don't think that there's necessarily any parameters. And this is one of the resources that we'll provide. I'm not going to advocate that the Wyoming DAO LLC law is the one that makes the most sense for Open DAO. I think having some legal protection is better than having no legal protection. And I think the sooner that we as the DAO at large can put forward the options that exist and allow the core contributors and put forward a solid governance, like a vote to the entire community and have a solid proposal. And I don't know what that process is going to look like. And this is one of the reasons that I'm participating in this, because we love the community here at Open DAO. We love a community first approach. And that's one of the reasons that we're pouring all of the efforts into facilitate this. So like one of the things that's on the immediate task here, and is I think that we should just leverage the Research Alliance and help to compile like all the different informations as far as what makes the most sense. There's another organization that may make sense for us to explore. I haven't had any conversations with them. It's WACO, and I might be saying that incorrectly, but they are more geared for providing some type of guidance specifically for DAOs. And you can see they've got a decent list of organizations here. And this is, again, full disclaimer, I don't know anything about them. I just know that they have some nice associations in the industry. Rarible, which is a NFT that has some DAO governance component. Polygon, we all know Polygon, one of the major L2 chains. So I'm gonna add this to a list, and that's one of the things that I would advocate that we can begin doing is taking a look. And Wyoming DAO LLC is definitely one that's on the list that Mrs. Yonks and I do have some personal experience with.
There's one other thing that a legal entity provides, which is, again, US only, not familiar with international, is if you don't have a legal entity, you can't form a fiat bank account. So if the DAO needed to, for whatever reason, on-ramp or off-ramp money into a bank to pay bills in fiat or transact in fiat or whatever services or whatever we need to buy, it's really helpful to be able to say, okay, we're going to transfer $1,000 to a bank account. We're going to pay this bill in currency instead of paying it in crypto. And you can't, at least in the US, you can't have a business bank account if you don't have a legal business. You have to have one. And that is something that having a legal entity would provide. We could say and I'm making this up, the multi-sig signers are the people who are authorized, or other people that the DAO votes on are authorized for the bank account. And we could publish bank statements on some public forums to be transparent, whatever. But if we don't have a legal structure, no US bank will open a business bank account without that.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was a good answer for my question, but I think it made clear that we are everything people asking us, we are just trying to answer. We can't answer 100% because we are in such an early state that no one knows the exact answer. I mean, we are already stuck on the question, where are we? Where is our DAO? Is it in USA? Is it in Singapore? Is it in China? And I think before we sort out these kind of questions, we should just summarize some resources about about DAOs, and especially about DAOs that are not that don't have any connection to a VC. Like for example, you showed Polygon network, but I'm sure that Polygon got is a VC by its own. So they got a legal entity and stuff, and right now we don't have any. So yeah, we will think about that, but for now I think we should our mission should be that we all do some researches. I will do most of the researches by my own, and will try to provide the most of the informations on every call we got. And we do have to speak about our weekly calls. If we want to do one call, or if we want to do twice meeting calls a week. Yeah, so I think Jason, you worked with a lot of alliances already. You are all doing two legal or two alliances calls weekly, right?
No, like we haven't had a second alliance call yet. I think that there's a couple that are bubbling up as far as the Compensation Alliance and the Treasury Alliance. And I think right now, I would say weekly, maybe even bi-weekly, as far as getting kind of seeing what the, and I'm not sure what the desire is as far as, because you know, if there's a decision as far as the legal framework, you know, so I think just do a quick poll or something like that and see what makes the most sense and see what we've got as far as action items from this particular one, because a lot of stuff can be facilitated, and the better that we get it as far as facilitating and fulfilling any action items that we identify here, then that will make a more effective use of everybody's time. And I think also, you know, potentially even having like workshop or conversations as far as breaking out if there's interest on particular topics, like, you know, because I think one of the visions for us here is to use this community and then, you know, potentially, you know, provide work with like the Education Alliance as far as putting forward some best practices regarding legal stuff. And so, but that's my understanding anyway.
Okay, great. Yeah, so then we will do one weekly call. I think we have to do one call just so we can tell everyone else our our informations we got, and to build and improve our resources about DAOs and the legal questions behind it. And we will, I think we will continue with the Let's Meet link, so everyone can add their availability there. I don't think we should have a fixed time call. If you disagree, please come up. If not, then we will continue with our lattice link, and then we can make a tick for this first goal. Modify. Yeah,
I think we're doing that one right now, Mick.
Yeah. So now we have to talk about building resources. That's a really important question, because we all know that we are all spread over the world, and every legal stuff is different in every country. So it's gonna be a tough one to really get some resources from our own countries. So I think we should focus right now, what are other DAOs right now doing? So we should look into Olympus Pro, or the Polygon DAO, or the Bankless DAO, or just other DAOs. Look what they are doing and understand.
Hey, Mick.
Yeah.
Hey, I apologize for interrupting. Jason, could you pull up the list and just start? Can we just take an action item? Just everybody just take 1 or 2 DAOs to research, and then we can come back for next alliance. So we've got this done, or we can ask the research alliance to do this. I love great action items. I want to assign them out, and then we've got something to come back to next time.
Yes, of course. So I think we should also look up the Olympus DAO for sure. The Bankless DAO, just because someone of our team is working for them, and it's great to connect with them if we got any questions. You showed the Polygon DAO, and also I want to look into your the DAO in Wyoming. I don't remember the name right now. Is it the Wyoming DAO? Okay.
Well, Wyoming's actually a state, and this is actually
I know
a governance within the state. So it's not actually, Wyoming DAO is not a DAO, it's a field of law within that state.
So the Maker DAO, no. So what is the DAO about? Is there any DAO you are working in Wyoming, or is it just the?
Well, yeah, we have a couple DAOs that we are involved in there, that we would be more than happy to provide how that we have founded those. And Wyoming DAO, this is something that's contested here, in the US, whether that makes the most sense. And that's where this topic can get complicated as far as, you know, because we're still so early here and there hasn't been case law, and a lot of, until there's some established case law, a lot of attorneys are concerned whether, you know, what holes could be potentially poked into the regulations as they exist. So, and the Wyoming DAO LLC only has been in effect since July 1st. So it's that fresh, which is like literally, you know, 6 months ago. So it's a very new regulation. And to provide a little backstory for Wyoming, they were the first state here in the US that introduced the LLC law, but then you've got Delaware that has this amazing business chancery court. So that's one of the reasons that a lot of publicly traded companies choose to incorporate in the state of Delaware, is because, and again, we have a very myopic view. We haven't looked as far, and that's one of the reasons that I put forward the WACIO organization that does appear to provide some sort of coverage for DAOs. So, and so I put MakerDAO on here because I remembered there was some conversation that bubbled up there via their forum. So that's something that I'll personally take and provide a little bit of additional context here. Does somebody else want to, is one of these DAOs that somebody else wants to provide as far as an action item to compile some data for this initial task?
I'd be happy to look into WACIO if you guys would want, and see, you know, like do a little bit of an analysis of just WACIO, you know, what they do, etc. If that would be helpful.
And I saw Mick was chiming in there.
Yeah, I think we should also look into the decentralized DAO. It's a DAO from land and mana holders, and I think yeah, I think it fits for us if we do some research about that.
And
so,
if I didn't get that right, you can fix it here on the Notion, Mick.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's right. So yeah, Sushi, you are here from the Research Alliance. I think it's great for you just to if you could just do some researches about them. You don't have to actually understand legal stuff to find out their entity or what are they doing to be legal suit proof, or just yeah. So I would love to
wait, and if I found anything, I will let you guys know.
Okay, great.
We had a couple questions from the audience. One of them was from James asking about KYC requirements, know your customer, KYC AML, know your customer, any money laundering. Those are applicable for entities that either are based in the US or they do business here. And he brought up Binance, which is, I think they're based in China, and they actually formed a separate entity that only does business in the US. So they've got Binance and then Binance US because they only want that one particular entity to be under the jurisdiction of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So that is something that we might want to think about. So forming outside the US is fine, but it's not going to help if part of our membership is in the US or part of our stakeholders are in the US. Then the SEC is still going to regulate it. They're going to say they have jurisdiction. Doesn't do any good. So unless Open DAO wants to separate into Open DAO International and Open DAO US only, then the SEC is going to claim jurisdiction over everything, just because that's what they do. So it's definitely a conversation to have. I know a lot of companies form that, but forming legally in a different jurisdiction that still does business here doesn't solve the problem that people think they may be trying to solve. So just FYI on that. We had another question from the audience that was, can you address all the negative feedback? And does anybody want to take a crack at that? Just negative comments, negative videos about Open DAO?
Sure. First, if I could just kind of come back to your previous point, you know, in France, if you're doing business in France, you know, French law applies as well. Like, you know, if you're incorporated in the US and you're selling your goods in France, of course, the French state is going to be like, you know, those are my consumers. So at least consumer law. And I was actually listening to a panel of French lawyers, you know, discussing OpenSea, and it's TNCs that are clearly not, you know, within, you know, they don't comply with French consumer protection laws. So, you know, we were like, right now, OpenSea is selling to French people and breaking the law. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot, that was a few months ago. I don't know. Since then, they brought in some pretty, you know, like corporate people who must have, you know, like done something to, I don't have an update, but all I'm saying is that just because another DAO does it in a certain way, it doesn't mean that it's legal, and doesn't mean that, you know, they're not going to get caught. Like I've heard people say, oh yeah, I raised funds, I made a DAO, I don't care, it's under some LLC, my ICO, because I didn't raise that much, I raised only like X amount. And then it's like, okay, well, what if you do 10 million, you know, like you planted your seed in the soil that's not right, you know, legally you're in trouble. And then if you succeed, you know, there's going to be a problem because you're going to be looking. So I'm just kind of saying it's important to abide by some law and be mindful of that. But yeah, and to the point, the negative comments, like there's always going to be haters, you know, like we're here trying to change things. We're here because we believe in decentralization. And if some people have negative comments, like we'd love their help, you know, like how can they contribute through their work with making things better? Like, I think we always want to improve, but I personally think like this is a wonderful project, and people don't have to be part of it. You can sell your SOS and mute, you know, block that account and never, you know, really talk about it again. So like, I don't think I should be convincing people who are angry, you know. It's like, oh, you don't like it. It's a bit like politics, you know, like you can't like argue with someone if you're not having the same views.
Hey, Ellie, since you're obviously pretty familiar with French law, does every country in Europe tend to regulate differently, or is there an EU body of securities law that everybody kind of opts into?
So I have to check on that with the securities. There's definitely EU law that simplifies it, but the EU law is in different directives and regulations. The directives in the EU are not mandatory. So it's like, you know, an advice, and the regulations are mandatory. So I'd have to look into, you know, and there was a directive about crypto and it's passing into a regulation, but I would need to like really look into that because I don't have the knowledge right now, but I can try and find it.
There is a difference between the countries in Europe, but sorry that I interrupt now. Actually don't feel comfortable with talking about legal questions, because I listened to both of you, and some things were actually wrong, and I don't like to talk about stuff if we are not 100% sure, and we can't be 100% sure because no one from us is a legal crypto expert. So I would like to suggest not to talk about any questions from the chat regarding crypto legal questions, because yeah, I mean, it's too hard. I worked actually with 2 crypto law firms last week, and they said some different stuff you both said, and it's just too hard. So sorry to interrupt you here. I would love to continue with the other question from the chat regarding the bad news about Open DAO, or what was it? Tyler, I think you mentioned the second question.
I'm sorry, my baby was screaming in my face. Can you ask me one more time, please?
The second question from the chat.
I think that's something that we need take offline, because I've been and Mrs. Yonks and I both pretty actively monitor the YouTube comments. And like when you look as far as the feedback, like the thumbs up that we've received, I don't know if we've really like received any dislikes. And I think Mick really nailed it when and sometimes the haters are going to hate, you know, and I haven't seen any of widespread negative reviews or feedback that you're talking about. So I think we encourage people to continue to leave comments, and then if it's appropriate and not like basically trolling, then that's something that we will bubble up through the Alliance various teams here or through the moderators as well. And I think like I wanted to go back real quick, Mick, because I think one of the opportunities that we have here, taking this community first approach and like the opportunity to potentially invite some legal experts and host some panels, or potentially leverage Twitter and have a Twitter space as far as like just put it out to the world that, hey, we're looking for some guidance from people that have been through this journey as far as, and invite them into our community to provide some legal recommendations, so that we're not like positioning ourselves as the expert, but leverage this amazing community that we have here at the Open DAO to facilitate some legal panel discussions as far as best practices for DAOs. And I'm just putting some brainstorming ideas out there for you all to go with.
No, for sure, we will. It's a great idea. We will have a workshop if we are ready to have one, and to provide some informations that are good enough. And I will also look out for some experts that can help us with the legal questions if we have some really important ones. Yeah. I will do it by myself with working with some other contributors. I think we maybe have to even think about the compensation and stuff like that, if and the expenses, if we want to get some really good people. Yeah. But I think
and don't underestimate the power of our community here as far as to help facilitate and, you know, invite and just, you know, like, and that's one of the things I think that we have the responsibility, you know, to promote best practices for other NFT projects, you know, and the easier that we can make the facilitation of these conversations through the entire DAO Web3 ecosystem. So yeah, thanks for taking the initiative on that, Nick. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. I'm really grateful that thankful that you're helping me with this alliance. I think yeah, the last bullet point is to create a seamless onboarding process for new talents. Yeah, we discussed the expert theme right now, but I just want to say that if anyone wants to join our alliance, you can just type at or DM me on Discord, or just type in our legal alliance chat on our Open DAO. You can also reach me out on Twitter or YouTube. I will check the comments, and I will put my Twitter into our Notion if needed. And yeah, I think we are happy to see everyone who wants to join and help us. And I think it was a great first call, and we can finish here.
Fabulous.
As a next step, a bit like Mrs. Youngs was saying, could we maybe for next week just try and kind of scavenge a bit the community and see if any kind of practicing crypto lawyer would be, you know, willing to join our next call, just to give us like their opinion, and they could be from different countries. Like we would have like an open conversation with people who have had other experiences with DAO legally and are lawyers.
That's an awesome idea. And Ellie, I'm going to ask Rachel, the moderator, if she'd be willing to make an announcement for people to reach out. Mick, can I just direct those people to you if they are in the audience or in the DAO?
Yes, of course, and I will. I can also reach out to Rachel. That's no problem, or I can just do it the announcement by myself. I mean, I'm also an active contributor, so there's
Perfect.
no
Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, if you want
to
to take that as an action item, that'd be perfect. I think just having it come through the announcement channel to everyone is great, and that way, 57,000 of us. I'm sure we've got some lawyers in there somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we will. Yeah. I mean, for sure, we have to discuss it first because I think most of the alliances are not doing any announcements, but we will do a community update announcement for sure. Yeah, I think I will organize that.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I apologize if my English wasn't the best through this session.
Your English is fine. No apologies.
And yeah, have a nice evening or morning, depending on the area you are in. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Thanks all. Bye.
Goodbye.